Okay. Thank you very much. I think it's on record now. All right. Okay, so the next we are going to go to is our calendar. Now, our calendar just shows, helps us with, basic days, about special days in our business, so to speak. For this setting, the calendar view says remind last view. What that will do is that if you viewed at a particular date and you're logging into your system, it will remember the last view you actually logged into. So yes, if you want a month view, it will take you to a month view. If you want daily view, it will take you to what you have done daily. So, but the last view will always take you to the last transaction or the last window you just opened. That's why sometimes when you log into Quickbooks, you see a lot of windows opened on your platform. If you don't close them, when you log into them, you see lots of windows open. It's just trying to remind you of your last view you actually did. Weekly view, these are, well, this has to do with if you're actually active on QuickBooks, your weekly view can be fixed on the last 7 days, the last 5 days, or it varies. I can say fixed on probably the last 7 days. Your calendar should show all transactions. These are options. It can show deposits. It can show invoices. It can show receive payment. These are all options, but I prefer that our date should show us all transactions. Now, these are upcoming or past due settings. For upcoming data, it should show us 7 days ahead. For past due information or data, it should show us 60 days behind. If you want, I think these are the limits: 14 days, 31 days, and 60 days. These are the options you have. So let's leave it at 60 days. Okay, this is my preference. For company preference, there's actually nothing. So at this point,
so if I didn't put anyone, say 60 days,
yes.
What's the implication?
Okay, it's just going to show you. Okay, if you mean if you don't put anyone?
Yes.
You must put one, because here there are, is either it's 14, 31, or 60.
Okay. There is no one you can leave vacant.
No, you can't leave it. It's just, it will help you with tracking your data. Yes, it will help you with, although at the end of the day, you still need to back up your information, but it can show you information past due 60 days before. With that, it can help you track or get some information you need, as the case may be. Their company preference is actually nothing. So we'll say okay. It will tell you now when you make a change and you say okay, depending on the change, it will tell you QuickBooks must close all its windows to make this change. You are going to say okay. QuickBooks will close the window, but if you want to get back that interface, all you need to do is to click home. Home will bring back that interface. Sorry, this script. We'll go back to edit and preferences. Now we're in checking. Checking is, in US, they don't spell their check with CHEQUE. They spell it, yes, as per checking. So this just has to do with bank information. All right. In my preference, it wants us to set a default for special. Now, these are all source documents. So it's telling us whenever you open a write checks document, this is the write checks. If I go to let me just show you that so that I will move that. If I go to yes, this is write checks. So what it's trying to say is that for each of these windows, if I want to fix an account, a chart of accounts that will actually track those transactions that is fixed, it can provide that. But most likely, because we will have more than one bank and more than one chart of account for different transactions, we normally advise you leave it open. If you don't leave it open and you mistakenly process a transaction, it will send it to this account that you have provided, and you'll be going
By
back
default.
yes, by default, and you'll be going back and forth. So we'll most likely leave that open, and we'll set up our chart of accounts.
All right,
And
thank you.
okay, that's under my preference, right?
Yes, that's under my preference. You have open bill payment, you have pay sales taxes, you have open make deposit. If you have only one bank, then it's ideal. But if you have more than one bank, you might need to leave that open. Then the next is company preferences. In my company preferences, you have a lot of options. You have print name on vendor voucher. So if you are going to be having printouts for checks you use to make payments to vendors, that vendor name will be on that check. If you want to change check dates, if you want to change check dates when non-cleared check is printed, checks that are not cleared, if you want to change the check dates, you can actually do that to the dates that the check actually cleared. Start with Payee Field on check. If you're writing a check, if you think that the system should start with the Payee Field, it's actually going to do that. Now, though most of these options are okay, but most of them are not very important to our use. One about duplicate check numbers, that is very important, so that we don't duplicate check numbers. Remember, those checks they are like source documents you use to make payments to your vendors on Quickbooks. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
I didn't hear what you said about check date.
Okay, it says one about duplicate check numbers.
No, change check date.
Okay, change check date when non-cleared check is printed.
Yeah, I missed it there.
Okay. Now, when you print checks that are not cleared, maybe after a month's bank reconciliation, you realize that one of your check is uncleared, you can change the date so that it will carry the next month's date. But most times, because of bank reconciliation, we don't use that option. Let that check remain uncleared until when we confirm from our bank that it's cleared, then we reconcile it.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to change the date to the date it's cleared or to the next month, you can actually, but most we don't, so it's advisable we leave that option open. The next is start with Payee Field on check. Well, if you're writing a check or if you're making payments to vendors, you can start with Payee Field, but that's not very important. We'll start with the field we have available. The next is one about duplicate check numbers. That's very important.
Okay.
So we don't so we don't duplicate numbers. Autofill payee account number in check memo. Yes, if you're setting up your vendors and you provide bank details, those bank details will be reflected on your memo when you're raising that payment actually. Now set different accounts to use when you want to pay for a particular transactions and for payroll liabilities. Now, once again, we might need to leave these because we might be paying with different accounts from time to time. But if you fix any account, that means when you're making payments to vendors and you're paying your employees, you only use those account numbers that are provided. Express mode. Now these are just used to download transactions on Quickbooks. These are for bank feeds actually. Well, most of our banks are not linked to our Quickbooks, so we do our bank reconciliations we get the bank statement and reconcile using the system. In other clients, in other claims, what you do is that QuickBooks gives you the opportunity to download your bank statement directly from your bank so that you can reconcile inside the system. If that is the option, then these rules will actually apply because these are download options. These are download transaction options. One of those download transaction options is your bank statement. Well, we'll leave them, we'll allow the rules to apply, and we'll always ask before creating rules. So basically, these are some of the options we
So,
have.
so we are not going to untick it.
No, we'll leave
The
it.
express.
No, we'll leave it because there are other rules that applies. Especially one of other of such rules is if you're exporting reports out of your QuickBooks, it would. If you tick that, it should always ask. It is good. Number one, create rules automatically. The system will let you know the rules that is existing as regards that download you want to do. Then the second is always ask. If you say always ask, if you want to, if there are some rules that might not apply to you or you don't find comfortable with that option, you can actually make that choice. Okay, so this is some of the company preference we would look at. Since we are done, we will say, okay, if there's any major change, it will just go. If there is no change, it will just allow us to go back to where we are.
Please, where's the okay, please?
Okay is up here at the top right hand side of the
Okay,
box.
something blocking my view there.
All right, sorry. Okay, that's the okay. Now, if you go to edit, remember this is edit. Go to preferences. You have desktop view. Desktop view is the view you're seeing now. In my preference, you have one window. One window means that you can open more than one page or one page of a particular transaction. You can open maybe a write checks and a general journal at the same time. Okay, but the option is multiple windows so that we can be working on different windows at different times. Okay, now desktop, save when closing company. Don't save desktop, save current desktop. Well, what this does is that when we are closing company, it will save the current desktop view we have. When we come up, it will bring out all those pages that we shut down with. Some people might not want to shut down and start opening those pages again. So when they close the company, when they open it, it will bring out the desktop view that we left on closed. But if you say don't save, it will open without actually retaining those windows you have actually closed. So we'll use save when closing so that it can bring it up out for us. Now the next is show home page when opening a company file. Because this option was ticked, that's why immediately we created a new company. This home page, which is this page that has the arrows and the description. Yes, this page showed because of this option. So with that option, when you're opening company, the home page is actually going to be displaying. Switch to colored lights. Well, with that, the lighting in your system would actually be changing from time to time. But I don't need that. I just want.
What is the implication?
It's just to beautify. Just from somebody who likes colors or who likes the windows to just be beautiful. You can do that. The background colors will change probably after every login. Okay, window settings. You have sounds. Now, if your sound is active, this just shows that my speakers are active. When you save any transaction on QuickBooks, it makes a sound to just show that transaction has been saved, or a way of giving you feedback. Now you have window display settings. Display is just the view you're seeing. There are other settings that you can do. You can change the color, you can change the font, you can change, so many other things you want. But if you look at this window now, once I clicked that, this is what came out. This is just showing you your resolution. My resolution is at landscape, and these are recommended. So it's just showing you your screen resolution as it will affect your desktop view on Quickbooks. So let me share the new page. Okay. Now, the last is default. Company file color scheme. The default is on, what we are seeing here is blue. You can change the color to orange, to brown, to purple, and whatnot. All these options are available under my preference. If you go to my company preference, you have all these ticked. Customers, receipts is available, statement and statement charges. These are all source documents anyway. Just to make sure that anyone in the customer window, these documents are available. In the vendor window, these documents are available. Now you can see that sales tax is off, inventory is off. When we go to those settings, we are going to turn them on. If we click here, it will take us there directly, but I want us to, when we get to that particular area, because they are all options in our view, we can actually work on those areas. But every other one is on: outside, sales tax, and inventory. So we're done with this phase. Remember, we have our preference, my preference, and the company preference. Most of these informations are okay by default. So I'll just say okay. I'll come back to preferences. Now we have finance charge. Finance charge is actually an interest your customers will accumulate based on agreements. If their invoices are overdue and you have an agreement with them to pay some certain amount of money, if they don't pay at a certain date, they are going to be having finance charges. Well, this is where you can set that up. But before you set this up, take note that it will apply to all your customers. Yes, so it is good that for every customer you will set up his own credit term. So because of this, you will leave it blank. Okay, so but this is where you can actually do that. If you put a rate, put the minimum charge.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Put a rate, put the minimum charge, put the grace period. All these will apply to your customers when they meet the criteria. But we'll leave it blank because we don't have such arrangements. We'll go to general. These are just general information about use. These are especially when it has to do with the decimal points, recording transactions, turning off pop-up messages, and the rest. Remember when we created this company newly, some pop-up messages came out. If I click this turn off pop-up message, those informations will not come out when I'm logging in. This other option says press N. Okay, we're back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we are no longer hearing you.
Sorry, I think there was a network issue. Okay, you're all connected now?
Yes, I'm connected.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, are we done with my preference now?
Yes, we have my preference and the informations here are okay for me. And when you also
My preference. Please, can I see my preference? My preference.
This is my preference. Under general.
Okay, we are now on that general.
Yes.
Okay. We looked at finance charge that time.
Yes, and we said that the finance charge, we will not do anything about it because it will apply for our customers. But this is my preference for general information. Now, if you look at them, most of them are okay. I prefer not changing any of them. They are all good for me. Automatically drop down list when typing, beep when recording a transaction, automatically place decimal points, one when editing a transaction, and all that. All these are fine by me. I'll go to my company preference. Now, this is time format. Decimal point, as you can see, is a two-place decimal point. The minutes will come out just in that format. Now, the other one says always show years as 4 digits. So it will show 20.
Okay, why didn't you put the click
Tick the decimal point,
the
right?
icon on it? Yes, yeah.
Okay, show portions of an hour in decimal point. This one says 10.20, but the minute shows 10 inverted commas 12. So I prefer that
So
format.
that's better.
Yes.
Minute is better.
Yes. I prefer
Why?
It's
colon.
It's
We have
colon.
colon there instead of a point.
Sir, what this is showing us is how your time will appear.
Is it not better to do it in decimal point in hours?
No, I think, because of that decimal point is just a point. It's just 10. If it's 10:20 p.m., what you have is 10.20. But if you leave it in minutes, it will show the column. And I think that's a more...
Yes, this minute is more conventional.
Yes, it's conventional.
Common computer wristwatch there. This minute I chose.
Yes, so it's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, updates. When of course, your years will show 4 years, 2020, instead of showing just 20. So we'll leave it in 4-year digits. The other option, never update name information when saving transaction. Never update name information. Well, once you save a name on Sage, the name is already saved. So there's no point updating a name regularly. Then save transactions before printing. Before you print, it will give you the option of saving that transaction first. So for the general information, my preference, they're all there. Company preference, quite okay. So at this point, we'll go to the next. But you tell us we need to save first. So we'll save that. The next is integrated applications. This has to do with other applications that work with Quickbooks. It doesn't have my preference, but it has company preference. The first option says, don't allow any application to access company file. Very important, so that if I tick, that means no application will access. If it wants to access, it will let us know. But if I untick, that means we'll allow. We'll need to allow because other applications like PDF, Excel, and the rest need to have access. Because because we are going to be exporting some of our information in those formats. So
and you can also upload.
Yes, you can also upload. So we need to allow it so that will be fine. This is all for, then the other one says notify the user before running any application whose certificate has expired. Well, because in this country we use mostly pirated applications. If we do that one, it will affect us negatively. So I believe we should leave that blank. Because if you tick this one, once you're using maybe an Excel that is pirated or that is not licensed, it will not work. So we need to leave this open. That is that for integrated applications.
Are you not promoting corruption?
I think this is fine for us. Now, the next we are going to is inventory, items and inventory. This is one of the most important settings you need to work on. Okay, you have my preference, nothing is there. Company preference. You have the option of, you see, inventory and purchase orders are active. In this, our company preference, it is not active. So we need to activate it. We need to be able to make purchase orders. So
what does that mean?
If you leave it like this, that means you will not be using PO. Okay. You will not be using purchase orders for your vendor transactions. Okay. So we'll need to be using that. So we'll tick it. When you tick it, every other thing comes active. Okay. The second option is one about duplicate purchase order numbers. I think that is very important. When calculating quantity available for my inventory, deduct quantity reserved for pending bills, quantity on sales orders. These are two options we need to decide when calculating available quantity. Since sales order is not yet, I don't know, I believe when there is a sales order, it shouldn't affect quantity on hand because the customer or the vendor has not yet supplied or has not yet received. So if we're calculating available quantity, it should not use sales order. But it can use quantity reserved for, we need to remove this too. Now, if we are doing what we call, if we are building inventories, like for example, if we have inventories that have to come together to form one stock item. That is what we mean by building inventories. Now,
can you help me? If you are having a pure water factory, you're setting up equipment for a pure water factory. Okay. What is the best application here?
Now, the thing is, it depends on the principle you're looking at. If you're, for example, you are about to commence production and you have reserved some quantity to use for that production process, maybe 5 bags of empty sachet of water and empty sachets rather, and some other chemicals you're to use. If you're doing your stock count and if you put this option, those ones that you have not used but you have reserved, it will remove it from your available stock.
Okay.
But I don't think it's right because since you have not used them, they are still part of your inventory item. They are still available for use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to untick it so that available quantity will be exactly what we have.
Okay.
Yes, to be exactly what we have. In some cases, it applies so that you know exactly, you will remove all these options. So, but in terms of availability, as long as it has not been used for production and it has not gotten to the customer, it's still available. Okay, now the next one, if not enough inventory to sell. Now, what this means is that now one quantity I want to sell if the quantity available to sell exceed the quantity on hand. Quantity on hand means what you have. Quantity available means even what you don't have or what is in transit is available. Quantity on hand means the one you can see, the one that is present for sale. Quantity available can mean even the one in transit. So once our quantity inventory exceed quantity on hand, it should warn us. So for example, yes, if you want to sell, if you have only 5 and you want to sell 7, and maybe 2 is on transit, well, because that 2 has not come yet, it should only sell 5. It should only warn you, because if you sell 7 when you have only 5, you have a negative inventory balance until that one in transit comes. That is when it will write off that balance. So it's always good you sell what you have, so that if the balance is left, when that item comes, you can now sell that off. So that is actually what that setting means. Unit of measure means if we're going to be measuring our inventory items, you have a lot of units. You have liters, you have single items, you have pieces, you have kilogram, you have all those options. So we are going to activate them. We are going to use multiple units of measure. So we will tick that option, multiple units of measure, or we can say assign, okay, let's use multiple. If one item has more than 1 unit of measure, you use multiple. So to do that, you just activate. So that unit of measure is now multiple. There is multiple, there is single, and there is disabled. Use multiple. Okay, so this is for inventory items and inventory. Very important. We need to keep this in view. So you click OK. So we'll go back to edit and go back to preferences. The next we'll see is jobs and estimates. For jobs, we'll go to company. There is nothing in my preference. We'll go to company preference. These are just job statuses. Pending, it should show as pending. Awarded should show as awarded. In progress should show as in progress. So these are just job status for your various inventory items. We are not changing anything as by that. Do you create estimates? Yes. Do you do progress invoicing? No. We can say yes. Progress
What does that
invoicing.
mean?
Okay, it means that you will invoice based on progress of work done.
Is it not better when you say no? It's only when you have completed the work.
So I can't hear you clearly.
Is it not better for you to say no?
Yeah, because you can quantify that. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at no, so that every job will go according to phase instead of according to progress. So we are going to be invoicing based on the phase of job completed. Okay, you have here one about duplicate estimate numbers. So that option is actually ticked. Okay. Sorry, let me just take water. Okay, so we are done with this. We'll go to
progress invoicing. Yes or no?
No, please.
Okay.
We will invoice based on activity. Then the next is multiple currency. This is very important.
Very, very.
Very, very. the option here, my preference is nothing. Company preference says track multiple currencies in this company file. No, I will use one currency. Yes, I will use more than one currency. So you tick that option.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
If you have customers that pay you in USD and you only have Naira, it will be a challenge.
Okay.
If your income and your payment is only in Naira, then you can use one currency. But if you will receive transactions in other currencies, it is advised you activate your multi-currency feature.
But in Nigeria, the policy is that, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
In Nigeria, the policy is that transactions should be recorded in Naira.
Well, I mean, there are lots of companies, you can pay your wire. I don't think it's a standoff policy. You know, when you fight
for I think that's for reporting.
When you fight
because at the end of the day, your dollar, you convert it to Naira when you are converting. But initially, at the point of entry, your entries,
you record as you. In fact, if you're filing for VAT, you will see Naira, USD, pounds. When you're paying tax, according to the new law now, if you're paying tax, if you receive that money in USD, you pay tax in USD.
Don't mind them.
So you will pay, it's not convert, because if you're converting it, you can choose to convert it at a lower rate and go and give tax people. So they want you to.
That's why they give you rates when you are even converting your withholding.
Yes,
dollar withholding stuff.
You're
they
correct.
Give you rates. So
they give you the exact rate you're supposed to use.
Yeah.
So we're going to turn on our multiple currency feature. So you say yes.
Okay.
When you say yes, it will open up various currency options. Because Naira is.
I'm running out of battery.
Sir? Okay, running out of battery. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have alternative power.
By my own Apple, I quickly rush out.
To buy fuel.
No, I already prepared for that, Lord, just to put it on.
Yes, so my
when the system warned me that it will go.
It will soon go off. Okay. So, sir, how are you doing? Do you have any plans? We can't hear you.
I said I have two laptops here.
Okay.
I have the second one.
Okay, so you need to connect using the second one.
Yeah.
All right. But when that is done, you let us know so that we can hold brief for you.
Okay.
Meanwhile, let's just finish this so that you can do that. Can your battery take you? Hello, sir. Okay, can your battery take you through this multiple currency so that you can change?
Okay, yes, it can.
Okay. So when we view, we discover that Naira is not on this list. You will go to view more currencies. When you do that, you're going to see we need to look for Nigerian Naira. At least this time they remembered us.
They have no choice.
So we have Nigerian Naira. So you select the Nigerian Naira.
Now, question.
Okay.
Is it all QuickBooks have this multi-currency? Well,
yeah.
All QuickBooks versions.
Yes, all QuickBooks versions do. But QuickBooks version with recent years.
Okay.
Yes, the older years don't. Okay, so the option is we should make the Nigerian currency active. So we're going to do that. You say you are about to select a non-US home currency as our home currency. Now, when you do that, you make Naira your home currency, although you can still process transactions in other currencies. So we're going to say, yes, Nigeria, because we're in Nigeria, we do business in Nigeria. Nigerian Naira should be our home currency.
I'm seeing something there that once selected, the setting cannot be changed.
Yes, it can. Yes, thank you very much. Once you select a particular currency as your home currency, you cannot change it.
Okay.
Yes. So it has to be your home currency. Okay, so at this point, we just need to say, okay. Now, it will tell us your company will need to close to update this feature. We say, okay. The system will go off because it's a major feature. And it will come up again when it has...
For us to select other currency, right?
No. Now, because you activated Naira, other currencies are available for you. If you receive a transaction in USD or pounds, you can actually post those transactions on Quickbooks with the exchange rates.
Okay.
Yes, but Naira...
So how would the exchange rate, which exchange rate now? Will it be...
Quickbooks automatically update its exchange rate according to the CBN rates, according to the official rates.
But FIRS might not recognize that CBN rate.
That's the official rate now. Is there any other rate we are going to use?
That's what they recognize.
Where do we put the exchange rate, please?
Okay. When we get to manage currency, we will do that. You can see it, right? Yes.
Okay.
See, download latest exchange rates.
Okay.
So the system actually knows.
We're under company now.
Yes, but when we are done with this, we'll go into transactions menu. So this is that. The rest are just few things we'll need to work on. This is payments. We can rush through these ones. Automatically applied payments. These are all good for me. Used undeposited funds at deposits as default deposit to account. I don't like this. I should be able to select the bank I want to use or money will be deposited into. Other options here are okay. Include online payments, yes. Intuit network email, that's the shell email we actually did. This is fine by me. The only thing we are removing here is remove use undeposited funds as default deposit to account. You need to untick that option. In my preferences, there's actually nothing. So this is good. Then we have payroll. All this is good. Remember, the payroll in Quickbooks is an add-on module. We need to purchase that module differently. So we might not, yes, we might not be doing payroll here. What companies do is that they process their payroll manually and use the journal to post the nets.
Okay.
Yes, but for now we might not be going through that. Reminders.
But please, for the payroll,
okay.
Does it interface with other, maybe like other software?
Not really. Quickbooks has its own payroll software.
Okay.
So you need to purchase that one, purchase the license, and set it up to fit your company use.
You don't want to do that, you pay manually, then you
Yes. That's what most companies do. Okay. After all, at the end of the day, it will still hit your general ledger. So Why spend extra money? Now we have the next one, reminders. Reminders, we have all options that the system can remind you. For example, checks to print 5 days before check dates. All these options are there, but well, these are all okay for me. When setting up your company preference, you can actually work on all these options. But they are all good. They are all good. Reports and graphs. My preference is prompt me to modify report options before opening a report. Yeah, we can do that. Prompt me to refresh automatically. All these are just for your graphs. The system should be able to prompt you so that you can refresh your data, or let the system refresh the graph automatically. For your company preference, they are all okay. The report should be on an accrual basis. If your company is a cash basis company, you can use cash basis. Aging reports, age based on due dates, age based from transaction dates. We are going to be aging based on the date that is due, or let's use transaction date. So if you post a transaction today, the system will start aging that transaction based on the date we posted it. Then we have other options, show accounts by name only. You can say name and description. So this is fine. Preferences. Sales and customers. My company preference asks what to do. All these other options are okay. Enable sales orders, warn about duplicate sales order numbers, and the rest. So we are not actually doing much in this area. Sales tax. My company preference is nothing. Company preference says, do you charge sales tax? Are we going to be charging sales tax?
Yes.
Yes.
What do you mean by sales tax? Is it
VAT? Yes, VAT.
Can't you rename it?
Sir?
Is there any way to rename that sales
yes,
tax?
we will do that. We will do that now. But the option is, do you charge sales tax? So we'll say yes.
Okay.
It will open up. Now it will tell us to add the sales tax item we want. So to do that, we're going to click add sales tax item. Just take your notes. When we click add sales tax item, it's going to take us to the icon where we need to add item. So we select sales tax item. In the sales tax name, we'll say VAT.
Okay.
In the description, we'll say value added tax.
Okay, that's fine.
Then, of course, in the percentage, we'll use the new percent.
7.5%.
Yes, sir. Then the tax agency, we're going to create a FRS or River State Board, depending on if it's limited liability.
No, FRS.
All right.
Or is it not better to leave it? Okay, yeah, FRS.
We'll use FRS.
One authority.
Yeah, so we have FIRS. So what you do, let me cancel so that you go through that step. If you go to your tax agency, you click the drop down. It will tell you add new. So you click add new. The vendor name, you will say FIRS. Or we can say, write it in full. Federal Inland Revenue Services. Yes. Now, this is the currency. They charge Naira. We pay, the agency is a Nigerian agency and they are actually Naira based. So we use Naira. I will say, okay. Mainly we say, okay, the system is going to add FIRS as the collector, as the vendor that collects this tax.
Please, what if you now have a dollar as VAT now?
If you're remitting, you will create another FIRS. Let's just use
it will not be Naira and dollar.
Yes, FIRS USD. Then you change the currency to US dollars.
No, can it be a sub account?
Sir?
Can it be a sub account?
No, this is just creating the vendor.
That's what I'm saying. When you have initial FIRS, you should have a sub account.
This is not the chart of account yet. When we get to the chart of account, we're going to chart it so that it will be a sub. But this is just maintaining the vendor. I understand what you're saying. We will chart it when we come to the chart of account. So this is, if that's, you see what he said? Tax agency must be in home currency. So we are fine by our Naira people. So after doing this, we'll say, okay. Once you say, okay, VAT has been established and it will apply. But now, if we say, okay, to tell us, make all existing customers taxable. Are we fine with that?
Yes.
Okay, the other option is make all non-inventory and inventory parts taxable. I don't think that is okay. Okay. So at this point, we'll say, okay. Go back and go to preferences. Other options like search. The search option I will show you after then. Send forms. My preference, all these are, you can send forms through email. Service connection, all these options are actually okay. So at this point, we can say that you are ready to use your QuickBooks. If you don't work on these settings, you might have issues when posting transactions. You might have issues with some settings. However, if you have any problem with settings or with how your QuickBooks is behaving, just know that you need to sort that out using your preferences. And those preferences would apply according to what you want. So at this point, we'll say, okay, and we'll go to home. Immediately after your settings, your QuickBooks options all come alive and they are due. If we have been in edit, some other options there you have is use calculator. If you want to use calculator, the system has that option. If you want to find or search for transactions, you can find that option in edit. The view shows you the view, like what we are seeing now is the left icon, which is the menu bar, is up. The favorite menus are active. The multiple window is active. Lists shows you list of transactions, but I'm just taking you through the menu bars. Item list, fixed asset list, all those currency lists. So list just shows you the list of your options or transactions. Accountant gives you certain options like your chart of accounts, your fixed assets, where you do your reconciliation, where you send general journal entries, your closing dates, your working trial balance. These are some options you will see when you are at the accountant menu. The company shows you a lot more options. Here you have your currency, you have your chart of accounts, you have your general journals, you have all your reminders, planning and budgeting, setting up users, creating passwords for various users. You will find that in your company option. Customers.
Can you show accountant again, please?
Okay. These accountants.
So you do your journals or something?
Yes, you use your journals, your travel. This is just mostly used by the accountants. Your chart of accounts, your fixed assets. You make your general journals here. You close your accounting closing date, you do here. Remote access. If you're hosted in the cloud, you can do that. The accountant has the right to do all that. Company. This is a much larger option.
Hello?
Yes.
I'll go through my other laptop. So.
Okay, we'll wait for you. We'll pause the class here and wait until you join.
That's going to be by what time? So, no, if we have one.
Sir, how long are we waiting for you? 10 minutes?
I've already joined.
Oh, you have joined?
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
I'm living in Ghana.
You can see, you are seeing what we're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're just going through the various menu options or menu bars. Okay, this is company.
So you are saying something about accountant.
Okay, the accountant menu shows you various work areas the accountant has access to. One of them is the chart of accounts, the fixed assets item list, the batch transactions, if you want to batch your transactions, client review. These are basic things like writing off invoices, fix incorrect recorded sales tax items. These are just adjustments, basically. Then you have your general journal.
So what is the importance of this client data review?
Okay, like I said, they are used for if there are complaints from your clients about certain information or certain data or certain transactions, you can review them in this option. Like I said, adjustment is one of the things that the accountant will be doing if there are challenges. For example, if you look at one of the option here, write off invoices. If some invoices have turned bad and you're no longer expecting payment in the near future, you can write off those invoices. You can fix incorrectly recorded sales tax. So these are just where you go mostly to correct some transactions that might have occurred. But this happens rarely or occasionally, as the case may be. What the next you have there is your general journal entry. Of course, we are going to be using that very often. Reconcile, bank reconciliation, you can use that. You can find that in your accountant menu. Your trial balance, your set closing dates. Closing date is closing a year. If you want to close a year's transaction, so that you can archive it, you can set a closing date. Then you have
Is it wise to do that?
No, it's not, sir. Please keep it open so that all you need to do is to back up your company data so that you can have access to your files whenever you want. Then you have a condensed data. These are to make data smaller or lighter. If your data are going to be large, you can compress or condense them. You have...
How? I don't understand.
Okay. Now, there are some information that, if you look, I just clicked on it. What transactions do you want to remove? What transactions that are outside a date range? So you can if when your data starts getting large, now, for example, if you're using a QuickBooks Pro and your data is now becoming too large for your application, QuickBooks will advise you to either condense your data or go for a higher version of that QuickBooks. So one of the options of condensing is you can remove some transactions that you think you don't need again in your system. And you can use that, remove transactions before a specific date. So all transactions that have happened is like purging. You can purge.
So you can't access it anymore?
No, you cannot. When you condense or when you purge, you can't access those information anymore.
That's serious.
Yeah, so these areas are rarely or occasionally used, but they are specifically used by the accountant. That's why they are reserved here for that purpose. You can see the information here are very delicate and very important. So,
what about remote access?
Of course, yeah. If you're in the cloud, you can only, right now what we are using is Zoom. We are just training. But if you want someone else to view, if you want to be working with somebody and you want to be connected, and anything you do, you want the person to be seeing in your QuickBooks, you can make that connection through a remote access. So it's used for...
Can you click that place? Sorry.
Okay. You see, it will connect you straight to QuickBooks. QuickBooks remote access for accountants. Work on your client's file anytime from anywhere. So this is just a remote option where you can work from anywhere at any time. You see the charge for it? $3 per month. Almost 4. Then $29 for 10 clients. So you can actually connect remotely and work from anywhere. Yes.
That is when you are still online.
Yes. No, as long as you use the internet and you want to remotely give, maybe you have a 5-user option and you want to stay in maybe Abuja and you want somebody working in Port Harcourt to want to be seeing what the person is doing. You can remotely grant access to that other accountant or that user.
But the person can't work on that.
No, you can't work. You can only view.
All right. Thank you.
Then this is manage fixed assets. Manage will involve things like depreciation, disposal, and the rest of them. Let me share this window. The server is busy. Most of these, I don't think it will do. Okay, you have select action, create a new fixed asset manager client, transfer prior year fixed asset manager clients, reconnect accountant review. These are just to manage your fixed assets. For companies that have large assets all over different parts, probably of the world or in various branches. If you want to manage your assets, you can do that for companies that have large assets scattered everywhere. Yeah, this is QuickBooks File Manager. If I want to share this QuickBooks file, or if I want to make sure that this file is safe, I can actually manage that option through my file manager. So we have company. We'll move through this. Company has home page, company snapshot. Snapshot is just a brief report about how your company has done over a specific period of time.
Can you click that place, sir?
Yes, sorry. I have. You can see that it's showing no data. You can see the snapshot. One is expenses, income and expense trend.
Okay, but it shows it in form of graph.
Graph, yes. It just analyzes those and shows all those in form of graph. If you go to payment, yes, these are all just options. Then you have your document center, you have your calendar, you have my company. This is your company information where you maintained your company name, address, phone number, and the rest of them. Okay. This is advanced service administration. This is where you set up users and passwords. Now, when you set up QuickBooks in your office or anywhere, and you want user access, you want different people to access QuickBooks and give them rights to view different areas. For example, you might not want your cashier to view things that concerns trial balance and income statements. This is where you set up users and give them assets or passwords so that they can log in. If I go to set up user, you see now it will tell me admin is logged on. I can add new users and view users. If I say add a user, it will tell me to provide the username, the password, and every other thing I need about that user. Let's just see how it works. If I provide a username, say Sam, and I put a password, let's say 2020 ABC, 2020 ABC. If I say next, you see now it will tell me, do you want this user to have access to all areas of QuickBooks or selected areas of QuickBooks? Or the external accountants, that's for our auditors. If I say selected area of QuickBooks and I click next, it will start highlighting those about 10 areas. Sales and accounts receivable, no access, full access, sensitive access. So these are just, it just shows you access rights. If I want full access for Sam, I'll say full access. If I want selective access, I can say create transactions only. So he cannot delete, he cannot do any of that, he can't edit. If I say next, this is purchases and payables. If I say selective access, create transactions only. So these are just how you set up your users and how they can work.
Okay.
If I say checking account, no access. Inventory, selective access, create transactions and create reports. Time ticking, tracking, no access. Payroll, no access. Sensitive accounting activities, no access. Sensitive financial. Yes?
What does that mean by sensitive accounting activities?
Things like transfer funds, make journal entries, online banking, and the rest.
Okay.
SAM should not have access. Sensitive financial reporting, your trading profit and loss, your balance sheet, cash flow statement, and the rest. SAM should not have access. Changing or deleting transactions, no.
No access.
Now this is, this will just give you a report of what he has access to and what he doesn't have access
What
to.
you have done.
Yes. Then you say finish. So Sam now is a user, and admin is also a user.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are how you can create access and give users access on Quickbooks.
So you have to log in as Sam for you to look at what Sam
can do. Yes. You have to log in as Sam. So we are going to close this. So the company gives you, there is budget and planning. If you want to set up budget, if you want to set up forecast, let's just say you want to set up a budget for next year, 2021. The budget is for profit and loss. It will reflect profit and loss activities. Additional profits, no additional criteria. Budget from scratch. Budget from previous financial year. We'll use budget from scratch. Then we say finish. You see now that we can start budgeting for sales every month, shipping, all these chart of accounts that have been provided, we can budget for them. At the end of a period, yes.
So if your actual
sales
transaction incurred sales,
yes,
overshoot the budget,
yes,
will Quickbooks notify you?
Of course, you can run a budget and analysis. It will show you budget versus actual. It will show you those that did well and those that. In fact, when you check the budget versus the actual, it will now give you a report on how your various ledger performed.
How do you see the budget versus actual there?
Okay, it's in your report. Let's say you budgeted 20 million for sales in January. Let's say 2 million. In February, you budgeted 5 million, 5.5 million, and the rest. So you just keep budgeting. If I say save and okay. Now, if you go to reports, which we are going to go much later, you see it has budget and forecast. You come here, it has profit and loss budget performance. But we have not entered transaction, so we might not likely see any performance as the case may be. You see now, if we had a budget for March, it will show sales, what you made for March, what you made for, what was the budget, and it will give you year to date, and it will give you your variance. So this is just a report that shows you all that. If I go to report 2, I can see budget versus actual. If I do that and say okay, you see now, we budgeted 2 million for sales in January. It is minus because we have not made any sale yet. And the performance is 0. So,
okay.
Yeah, so this is just shows you your actual, your budget performance. As we enter as we enter transactions, this is going to become more clearer. You have to-do list, you have reminders, you have alert managers. If you have probably you have a meeting, or you have an estimate, or you have an invoice, or you want to do a backup, you can create those alerts on your system so that the system will actually prompt it when the time comes.
Now, where do you, no, DJ, go back again.
Okay. You go to company alert managers, or let's see,
okay.
You have maintenance alerts too. Or let's see, alerts, let's go to account managers. Now you have this option. See, file tax returns. Yeah, you can create that alert for this particular period. Every 8th of April, by the 8th of April, the system should prompt you for alerts. Another thing we can also use is reminders. Reminder also is a way of setting up your alerts.
Can you modify the alert?
Yeah, remember in preferences, we had some reminders. Almost due invoices 15 days before. So what it's trying to say is that for an invoice to be due, the system should remind us 15 days before the due date. All these are reminders. So when you have all these settings, the system will actually prompt you when the time comes.
Okay.
You have maintenance alerts. So now there are no alerts. This one has to do with running your Quickbooks. Maybe you want yearly updates and the rest of them. Okay, here we have chart of accounts, make general journals, manage currency. I will talk about downloading the latest exchange rate. Let's see if the system can give us latest exchange rate for today. I'll click that. It says download exchange rate feature is only available for files with US dollar set as home currencies. For files on exchange rates must be updated manually. So if you do that, yes. Well, all we need to do is to go to the let's see the currency list. We have all this already. Let's go to the currency calculator. So this is where you actually manually put your exchange rates. You see, let's say for home currency, let's say exchange rate. Let's say one of let's do this. Okay.
What are we trying to do now, please?
We're trying to calculate a foreign amount to our home currency. One foreign amount, but this is not active yet.
The exchange rate, is there no place you can put 4
naira? Yes.
In the exchange rate.
Yes, that's that. Let me go to our home currency adjustment. Okay. This is where you say US dollar is equal to $1
Okay.
is equal to 400 naira.
It's not 400.
It's not 400 now. How is 400?
It's up to 400. That's black market now. It says you use the official exchange rate.
360. Okay. 360. I thought it has left 360.
Official up to 360, yes?
Yes.
380.
Yes, it's more than
380 now.
Yes, 380.
Wonderful.
It's like they did some harmonization.
Yes. Okay, with this, you say save and close. So what it will do, anytime you post a transaction in USD, it will multiply that transaction, yes, times the rate.
So we did that under home currency adjustment, right?
Yes, home currency adjustment. Okay, the next is vehicle mileage. This one has to do with admin. When you want to track mileage of your various vehicles, based on the miles, and issue report based on those miles. Most of the admin managers will use this if they want to know how to track, especially fuel consumption and request for money. Okay, so we have letters, a lot of letters automatically generated by Quickbooks. Let's just see one of them. Okay, we have not actually set up a customer, so we cannot raise letters for now. So this is the customer menu. We are all going to come to all these areas as we enter transactions that relate to them. Okay, so for today, we're actually going to look at from the course outline. We have reviewed the interface, we have done installation, we have talked about some terms. We are actually going to look at setting up your business. And that has to do with creating these basic informations. Creating these informations. We are going to learn how to set up, we have talked about preferences. We are going to learn how to set up our chart of accounts, create customers, create suppliers, add items, set up inventory, and set up sales tax. And we'll do that now and see how far we can go. Okay, so we're going to start by setting up our chart of accounts. Chart of accounts are your ledgers. They are very, very important. That is what you use for your posting. They are your primary book of accounts. To set up a ledger, just as we did in accounting when we were learning accounting, to set up a ledger, you go to company and you go to chart of accounts. You go to company and you go to chart of accounts. Now, as you can see, some ledgers with codes have already been created based on the settings we used. The system thinks we're going to be needing them. We can delete them and we can add new ones. But from what I'm seeing, the system arranged the codes in a very technical way. For fixed assets, like as you can see, furniture and equipment, these two are actually fixed assets, he gave them unique codes, 15,000 and 17,000. For liabilities, 20,000, 24,000 and all. So these codes, we can review these codes. We can decide to code our chart of accounts in a way that we can also understand. So we're going to maintain various accounts. I'm going to write them out. We're going to set up the following accounts. One, we're going to set up accounts for capital or owners contribution. Two, we are going to set up accounts for land and properties. We're going to set up accounts for bank loan. Yeah. We're going to set up accounts for our bank. We are going to set up accounts for repairs and maintenance. So we are going to use this as an example to see how we can set up accounts using Quickbooks. Now, to set up accounts, like I said, you will go to company and click on chart of accounts, or you go to accountant, click on chart of accounts, whichever one. Then you come to accounts here at the tail end of your window.
Please, I didn't get that.
Okay.
I thought we can only do that under company.
No, when you go to company, you click chart of accounts, right?
Yes.
This page will open. This page that shows you list of all your companies.
Okay. Yes, so we can still do that under accountant.
Yes, if you go to accountant, you see the option chart of accounts. Okay, let me close this page. If I go to accountant now, if I click on chart of accounts, it's going to still open this page.
Okay.
So whichever one you go through, you can do that. Okay, so when you're done, if you look down here, you see accounts again. At the bottom of my screen, you see accounts. Accounts. When you click on it, you say new. When you click new, you're going to see what we call account types. You're going to see what we call account types. Income and expenses, assets and liabilities. Under your income You have under your category, you have income and expenses. Those are trading profit and loss items. Under your balance sheet, you have these items. Then others, you have others. Those that are not in this list, you can find them in others. Now, the first account we want to create is capital or owner's contribution. If you look at this, that is a balance sheet item, right?
Yes, it's a balance sheet item. Yeah.
Okay. To create that, you need to select equity. When you select equity, you will read what Quickbooks says. Tracks money invested or money taken out. The business taken out or money taken out of the business by owners or shareholders. So anyone you click, it will try to explain what that account type stands for. So make sure you create the right account using the right account type. If you create a fixed asset account under an expense account, you're going to see that fixed asset in trading profit and loss instead of balance sheet. So it's important you create the account using the right account type. So as I've selected equity, I'll click on continue. When you click on continue,
Why now? Why are you disturbing?
when I click on continue, you enter the account name. Capital / owners
Equity.
Yes. Now this is a sub account. This has you can make this a sub account of some accounts that are already existing. If you want it to also stand on its own, you can make it stand on its own. Let's make it a sub account of, there are so many of them. So let's let it stand on its own. But please, if you look up there, you will see number. All these numbers are 5 digits. So provide a 5-digit number. We'll start from, let's say, 3,000. Or 30,000 rather. Then the account.
So what happens to the previous number created?
It will be there. Oh, okay. 30,001. 30,001 because there's already a 30,000 here. So you highlight, copy and paste in description. Now you see this opening balance. If you're migrating from manual-based accounting to system-based accounting, and you have your audited accounts for that period, and the audited accounts have showed you your members' contribution, you can bring in the value of that contribution into your Quickbooks. Because the essence of using automated is to continue a process. It doesn't end it. So when you get your chart of accounts, whatever is a value of equity, you bring in that balance into your system. Let's say the value of our equity or what we started the business with is 50 million. And that, okay, 50 million. And that was as at the 1st of January 2020. Yes. So I'm just bringing in so that my balance sheet will start having shape. this is what I contributed into this business. This is what I used, the assets, everything I introduced into the business. This is the worth. And I'll say, okay. Okay, let me see. All right. Okay, once you click OK, you will see that owner's equity has a value of 50 million. Owner's equity has a value of 50 million as at the 1st of January 2020. The owners have a value of 50 million as at the 1st of January 2020. So we're going to click on Save and Close. The transaction is more than 30 days in the past. Are you sure you want to make, you see that 30 days in the past? Because we're making a transaction in January and we're in March. Do you understand? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. This option is coming because we are making we made a transaction.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to click on yes. Merely you click on yes, you will see that your equity has a balance of 50 million naira in your chart of accounts. An opening
what
balance.
What do you do to other member this? Other member equity?
Other members?
Yeah, member one.
No, we didn't
equity. What does?
No, we didn't do anything there. Those things are zero.
Yeah, but it will be showing on your balance sheet.
What is showing here is capital and owner's equity, 50 million. And yes, it will show on my balance sheet 50 million. But all these other ones, they are ledgers and there are no transactions in them yet.
This 50 million, is it okay? It's all right.
Yeah. It's standing on its own.
Above the cursor, you have opening balance equity.
Yes.
That 50 million, is it not supposed to go there?
It will go, no, this one is minus 50 million. That was the double entry that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the double entry. One was credited, the owner's equity was credited, and opening balance was debited. Okay, so that is how we created that account. The next account we are going to create is land and properties. So the same process, you go to account, go into new. Land and property is a fixed asset. So we'll tick fixed assets. Quickbooks will tell you what fixed asset is. Land, building, significant items with useful life. Then you continue. All right. Now in the account name, we have land and building. Let me see what the code is here. 15,000. So we can say 15,001. You can copy land and building here. Now, also opening balance. The value of the property we have as a company is valued at 120 million. Remember, all these things are in our audited accounts. We're just bringing them in to QuickBooks.
So the only one you should bring into QuickBooks is audited account.
Yes, the only one you bring in, you have opening balances for, are those outstanding accounts in your balance sheet of your audited accounts. You know why? So that your business or your account will be almost exactly as what your audited accounts is. It's a way of continuing your financials. It's a way of continuing that process. So if you have a manual, okay. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to migrate from a company
you are correct.
Yeah.
You're correct. But what if the company is not audited?
Okay, well, we will make do with whatever we have. We'll bring in back, at least we should, the company will have properties and we can value them. The company will have shareholders or owners who can know the value of investment that has been put in. All these things are important. Yes.
I think if I may borrow your language or I infer from what you're saying, it's advisable anything you have to bring into QuickBooks now should be something you are sure of, audited account.
Yes, mostly audited, but like you said, if the company is audited and you are supposed to mainly use this, all you can do is to take stock of the assets, ask questions, and the ones you can verify, you bring them in. For example, you can take stock of the assets, value them, and when you're done with your valuation, make sure management approves of it. Then you bring it into the system. Those things are important so that they can show a true and fair view of what that business is or the value of that business.
Okay, if a company is starting from scratch.
Okay, if the company is starting from scratch, the company will still have investments like capital that was introduced, used to start up that business.
Yeah, whatever they are starting with.
Whatever they are starting with. The company will buy some furniture, fittings, and the rest of them.
That could be gotten from the opening statement of affairs.
Yes, that if they have, but trust me, most businesses, they don't have all that.
Don't have opening statement of affairs. Okay.
Yes, they don't have. You just value them as an account.
Like one-man company.
That one, they play, but that called them plenty. So if you're in that, some have even stayed for some years, but they don't have fixed asset schedules. They don't have details.
Yes, you're correct.
You know, so we can just help them put those things in order and bring them in.
Okay, what if what you put, it means that what you're putting there may be tentative. It may not be the actual thing.
Yeah, it might be initially verifiable, but if they change with time, maybe if there is a particular asset that you did not know the company had, after bringing in balances, you now realize that that one was existing, you can edit.
Is it proper?
Yeah, it's proper. I mean, it's all about keeping records. Nothing is closed. It's just that make sure that you have proofs or documentations for what you're bringing in.
Yeah, once you can defend it.
Once you can defend it, once they are the fair value, then why not? Please bring it in because it's about keeping records.
Okay, but the management has to be aware of everything they are bringing.
Of course. Now you give after you're done, you give them to approve some of these things.
Yeah.
Make sure they want you to disclose it. Most times it's non-disclosure because of tax.
If they don't disclose, you leave it.
Yeah, so because of tax issues and all. So you leave that. So this is done. We are going to save and close. Once again, we'll create the next one, new. Bank loan for a year. We'll look for liability. It's not on this list, so I'll go to other types and I'll select other current liabilities.
I thought you first of all open bank account before creating bank loan.
No, this is a loan. This is a liability.
I know.
No,
but
No, this is just like it's a liability that is existing. It has its own.
I know. See where I'm going. Before you open your chart account, chart of accounts, okay, you are starting from balance sheet.
Yeah.
Is it not proper? Is it not proper to capture the banks you have?
We will do all that. You know what? In our example, we have UBA Bank to create.
You just bank, creating the bank name, and then you enter into bank loan. That's where I'm going.
No, you don't need to do that, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
In your balance sheet, you might have current liabilities. You can just bring them in.
You're correct. Go ahead.
So we have a current liability. I will continue. Well, it's a bank loan. One year. We will try and see the code for liabilities 2400. So we can say 24001. Copy and paste.
Is it possible to overwrite existing code there?
Yes, you can edit those codes.
Okay.
You can edit them. But what you cannot do is if you have posted transactions, you can't delete a chart of accounts. You can just make it inactive.
Okay.
Okay, so the beginning balance, our liabilities, we had, well, since our asset is about 120, we had 20 million, let's say 10 million worth of liabilities in terms of loan. We took some money from the bank to also start the business.
Well done.
All of them happened on the 1st of January. And we save.
Banks don't usually give loan for startups. So.
The Bank of Industry can now. It's not commercial banks. So commercial banks, they find collateral first. Okay, then the next one we are to create UBA Bank, one of our banks. So we say new. Bank is here. So we select bank and we say continue. UBA Bank. This is a current asset. It doesn't have a rival yet. So we are going to say 40,000. The currency is Nigeria. It's a Nigerian currency or bank. The account number is this.
Don't put UBA Bank now, put UBA.
Okay.
UBA stands for United Bank of Nigeria.
All right. Then the opening balance in our bank account was 50 million. All as at the 1st of January. Save and close. Now the next is repair and maintenance. That is a startup cost. We had to refurbish the place before starting. So that is part of our expenses. So we just tick expenses and we go. $60201.
must I follow their coding system?
No, please. Anyone that is okay for you. Anyone that's okay for you. Yes. Save and close. Okay. So this is actually how to set up your chart of accounts, and this is key. This is very important to beginning your process. Let's look at what we have done so far. Let's look at the report, especially the balance sheet, because we're hoping that it will be almost the same with what we have. If you go to reports, go to company and financials, when we post transactions, you will get familiar with all these areas. Then you go to your balance sheet standard. The system automatically gives you your balance sheet. Wonderful, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So basically, your audited accounts, the final account should be almost, if not exactly, as what you have the previous year, so that you can follow through. So immediately I do this, I have successfully migrated from the manual way of keeping records, and I can run with my Quickbooks.
Can you check opening balance equity? There's something you wrote there.
Okay, it's just a description. Opening balance equity during setup post to list account. It's just trying to let us know that these were balances that were brought in when we started this account. The system is just spelling it out and writing it very bold. If you double click on any of those figures, you see it has already done, yes, it has done the accounting behind the scene. It has posted everything that needs to be posted. It has told us, it has used the assets equal to liability plus capital. It has used that formula to actually give us what we have as a balance sheet. So that is that. Well, we are going to, by 2 o'clock, we're going to be rounding up, but let's take one more topic. Let's learn how to maintain our customers. So if we select, maintaining customers just means providing basic information about your customer, their name, their address, their phone numbers, and certain information about them. We're going to have an example where we will create some of our customers. Let me type that. One, we're going to have Gold Mine Limited. Gold Mine Limited is at number 5 Trans Amadi Road. Their phone number is this. We have a credit term with them, 30. Net 10, 5%. So how do we set up this customer? To create your customers, you go to your customer or your menu bar and you click on Customer Center. Go to your customer or your menu bar and you click on Customer Center. It's going to open an customer information window. Then you click on Add and you say New Customer. Now we have the opportunity of creating customers both in USD, in pounds, and in other currencies. This guy is a Nigerian man, so a Nigerian company, gold mine. So we're going to say gold mine.
What if it has the machinery account?
Yeah, we can create that. We'll create that. Gold mine Nigeria Limited. It's still the company name. The customer name is still the company name. Then if you have a representative of the company that does business with you, you can fill in the person's name.
NG.
Okay. Yes. He's a contact person for the company. Then the address. For the address, you come to address detail and you click the edit sign. Our address here is number 5 Transamari Road. City is Port Harcourt. So you can fill up all these information of your customer. And you say okay. Once you say okay, those details will appear on the address line. Remember, you provide the name. The name is the same thing as the company name. Then you provide the contact person, if any, of the company. Then for your address, you click the edit bar and you say, provide all the necessary information and you say okay. That comes out well. Then,
what of the opening balance is showing at the right?
Yes. Now, if, for example, if we also enter, remember, we are trying to migrate. If at the time of migrating, this man he had an opening balance with us, there's a receivable on his head, and the value of that as at the end of the year was 500,000. So you say 500,000 as at the 1st of March.
On the 1st of March or 1st of January?
January, rather, 1st of January. Then you say, okay.
You wrote that. Okay.
This is 1st of March. Then let me look at the payment terms. These are payment details. We don't need the payment. The customer needs our own account details. We don't need his own. Then we have the payment terms. Remember, we say our own is 30, 10, 5%. That means the customer has within 30 days to pay. If he pays within 10 days, you have a discount of 5%. So we are going to add a new, because it's not on the list of these ones. So the term will be for, yes, the term will be for gold mine. Net due 30 days. Percentage.
Gold mine or gold mine?
Gold mine. I even use gold mine the other one. Gold mine. So you say the term gold mine is standard. This is standard rates. The percentage is 5. Discount if paid within 10 days.
Okay.
So this is how to set up. This credit term is specifically for this customer.
Okay.
And you say, okay. So remember, you do that in your payment setting. In your payment setting, you will see preferred, you will see payment terms. The other options there, delivery method, let's say email, preferred payment method, check. You can also add new ones. You can say transfer.
Wire.
Any of that. So transfer goes in there. Tax setting, of course, this, if you see now, because we say VAT will apply to all our customers, VAT is there. Additional information, customer type. We can say this person is a contractor. You can create new one. Then you say, okay. Job, there is no job yet. So this is just a rundown of how you can set up your customer on Quickbooks. So if I say, okay, 30 days, yes. This customer will be added to my customer list with a balance of 500,000. If I want to edit this name, because this name is Gold Mine, mine is supposed to be this mind, I'll go and edit customer. What you need to do, just right click on the name. It will give you the option, then you say edit. And I'll go here, change it to Gold Mine. But you see, I cannot edit the currency. So once you save a customer on a particular currency, you cannot change it.
Okay.
You can edit other information, but you cannot edit the currency. So you say, okay.
What if you have a payment term with another customer that is different from this one?
The same thing, you just go through the same process. Add the new person. Yes, add the new person. Come to payment setting. Create a new term. See, Gold Mine's own is there. If it's within this one you have, you click. If it's not, you create a new one. So it's the same step.
No, hello.
Yes.
Just, can we go back to that page? The one you just closed.
Okay, this is creating a new customer.
Okay, that bottom left, you see customer is inactive.
Oh, okay.
So if you put a customer inactive, if it's not, if it's dormant, and you click that, it will go somewhere, right?
If you click,
and maybe possibly, and you want to bring it back. So how do you?
Is it customer is inactive?
Yeah. Yes.
Customer is inactive.
Yeah.
If not